Hey, in this short video, we're going to talk about a specific application of respect that I think is really important for fathers to understand when you have daughters, and give you my advice on how we can protect your daughter's self esteem and self concept. So, this is a short chapter. It's probably the shortest chapter of the whole book, actually. It's chapter 7 of this book. Daddy, Are You Proud of Me? It's available now on Amazon. We'll post a link here. You can send me the receipt if you want to grab the unedited audiobook recordings before those are actually released. You can do that. So, chapter 7 is love and respect her mom no matter what. Now, this is somewhat, and by the way, as always, engage, right? If you have any questions about anything I say, if you disagree, if you want to ask me what if questions or whatever, then please do. The first thing I want to say is that this is not just my moral theory. This isn't just like I think you should respect your mom no matter what. This is based on so many conversations. This entire book is really based on my experience coaching women and what have they told me. And so this book is like a guide for dads of what we need to know when we have daughters that we probably don't know, because they tell me this was influential in my life. This is where I picked up this belief or whatever. And so when I've talked about relationships and self-esteem with so many women, I can't tell you how many times they've told me a version of this right here, that what they believe they deserve is what they learned from their parents' marriage. So I said this is the shortest chapter of the book. It probably could have just been one sentence. And this is the sentence: how you treat her mom determines how your daughter believes she deserves to be treated. And in the book, I said, please read that sentence over and over until it really lands for you, because the gravity of it cannot be overstated. So this is not a conversation about who's right, who's wrong, you being tough in the eyes of your daughter, you crushing her mom to show who's boss, or any of that stuff. What matters is, what does your daughter see? And what does she learn based on what she sees? And it's natural when we're young to fit ourselves into the gender role of our parents' marriage, right? So as little boys, we identify with dad naturally. As little girls, we identify with the mom, right? Because that's just how we see ourselves in that model, assuming a heterosexual marriage, like it's just natural, especially when we're really young, we just put ourselves here and put ourselves there. And so little girls from that perspective are trying to figure out, how do I get his love? How do I create what I see them creating? And they're making so many decisions internally about what they want to do, but deeper than that, what they deserve to have, who they are in a relationship, which is an identity formation. And it's going to come from what they seek. So now let me say one more thing about this topic, especially any pushback that some men have sometimes, is that there are extreme examples where I would say, yeah, you got to set more boundaries around that one, or maybe this exact sentence doesn't apply. If we're talking about criminal behavior, dangerous behavior, like extreme, narcissistic behavior where she's attacking, then those are extreme examples. But aside from the extreme examples, I'd say almost all the time, maybe 90% of the time, I want you to understand that your little girl is seeing things through her perspective, especially the younger that she is. And she's making decisions about her deserve level. She's making decisions about her self-worth. She's not assessing whether you're right or wrong, or whether her mom is right or wrong. She's making unconscious, unfiltered sometimes decisions about what she deserves. So my advice to you is to identify what you want your daughter to believe she deserves in a relationship, and then don't tell her that, show her that. And sometimes some of the best things we can teach our children or anybody else that's watching is how to manage conflict. So I'm not saying hide everything and never get into, verbal discussions or even, disagreements or maybe even arguments. But can you do it with love, and can you do it with respect for your daughter's sake, for the perspective of what she is seeing? And it's so easy for us to think that we can act a certain way and then erase the actions with words. And that's just not the case. With parenting, the most powerful concept I believe in is that our children are not listening to the lectures, they're watching the show. So, how do you want your little girl to believe, or what do you want your little girl to believe about herself, about her self-worth, and about what she deserves in relationships? And she will determine that by how she sees you treat her mom. Enough said. If you disagree, a lot of women watch this, and so I'd love your take on this. Again, this is based out of so many coaching sessions that I've had, specifically in relationships, and then identifying, oh, that's where they got it, right? So I'm passing that along, and I'd love to hear, especially from, from anybody, but from women, if you agree and you recognize that certain things were not okay, or that were okay, or you recognize that you fell into certain patterns because of what you saw in your parents' marriage, whether they were together or not together, or what was said, one way or the other, then please let me know. And there's all kinds of variables here. What little girls see their moms say, or who their moms, especially if they're divorced, who they choose to date or remarry. Like, there's all kinds of really valid discussions. That's just not in chapter 7. Chapter 7 is love and respect your mom no matter what. If any of this is intriguing and you want to grab the book, you want to give it to any girl dads out there, you just want to read it yourself. A lot of women are reading the book and they're telling me that it's been super, super helpful healing relationships with their fathers or understanding their own self-esteem issues. And that really warms my heart. So, Daddy, are you proud of me? You can go to coachshansmith.com/daddy. If you send me the receipt of the purchase, I'll send you the raw audiobook recordings. We haven't released the audiobook yet. It's not fully edited, but you'll hear a lot of the behind the scenes discussions and a lot of rich content in there. And I'll send it over to you if you want. If there's any questions that you have, like, any requests for videos, then let me know that as well. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. If you like this video, check out the next video in this series where I continue to share various chapters and break down some of the most important concepts from my new book, Daddy, Are You Proud of Me? What Daughters Need to Hear, See, and Know from Their Dads to Have High Self-Esteem and Confidence. Your body doesn't have enough constant force to keep it underwater forever. So at some point it's coming up. And that's why I said in that first sentence that we will